So let me start the today's session. In the last class, we discussed about introduction to arrays concept, what is meant by static memory allocation, what is the advantage of dynamic memory allocation, how the main memory looks like. To allocate the memory dynamically, C provides which type of functions, and already we covered what is malloc and what is calloc, what is malloc and what is calloc, and we practiced one program, and also what is a function also we covered, what is an argument and parameter also, actual and formal parameter also we covered. And also I have given some introduction, why do we require a pointer also, why do we require a pointer. So today we will try to cover once again what is a function. We will try to practice some programs on function with argument, what is actual argument and what is the formal argument, and what is meant by call by value and what is meant by call by address. Just a few more examples on pointers, now. And also these are all fundamentals. If you want to learn data structures using C, without knowing these fundamentals, you can't understand anything. And one more thing, what is the local variable? What is a local variable, and what is its and also what is meant by global variable? What is the difference between local and global variable? So we will try to cover all these points today itself. Coming to this program, this is the function calling statement and this is the function definition. At the time of calling a function, whatever inputs you are supplying, at the time of calling a function, whatever the inputs you are supplying, those inputs we call them as arguments or parameters. Generally these are called as actual arguments, and the variables that are declared in the function heading, variables that are declared in function heading to receive the values of the actual argument, and those variables are called as formal argument or formal parameter. Variables that are declared to receive the values of the actual argument or actual parameter, we call them as formal argument or formal parameter. Now what is mean by call by value, what is mean by call by address? With one example we will try to understand that. Call by value, main is the entry point of the program, return 0, let me take two variables, int a equals to 14, b equals to 58. I want to print the values. Before swapping, I just want to print the values of a and b. Before swapping, what is a value? In the same line, I want to print b value also, a comma b. After swapping also, I want to print the same statement. So just to modify this after swapping. Between these two lines of statement, assume I developed a function called swap. swap a comma b. Assume I developed a function called swap of a comma b. Now let us define a function with the name called swap. Swap అనే predefined ఫంక్షన్ ఏమి ఉండదు సి లాంగ్వేజ్ లో. రెండు వేరియబుల్స్ లో ఉన్న వాల్యూస్ ని ఎక్స్చేంజ్ చేయడానికి మనమే ఒక కొత్త ఫంక్షన్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. సో నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫంక్షన్ ఫాలోడ్ బై పేర్ ఆఫ్ parenthesis. Always a number of actual argument and formal argument must be matched in number. ఎన్ని నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ పంపిస్తే అన్ని నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ రిసీవ్ చేసుకోవడానికి రెడీగా ఉండాలి. ఎక్స్ కామా వై. Sir, the type of arguments, if they are integers, here formal arguments type also must be integer. Int x comma int y. You may have a doubt. Sir, here a comma b both are int type. We declared only one time, simply int a comma b. Why don't we declare like int x comma simply y, int x comma y? Remember, while declaring formal parameter, every argument must be declared for its data type. It is compulsory. It is the syntax of the C language. C language లో ఫార్మల్ పారామీటర్ దేనికి అదే సపరేట్ గా డిక్లేర్ చేయాలి. int x comma int y. Now here a comma b they are actual parameter, x comma y they are formal parameter. So how many of you remember the logic? I don't know. There is one temporary variable t, sir, t equals to x equals to y, and y equals to t. This is the logic. Sir, after swapping, am I required to return any response? Not required. If you are not going to return anything, your return type must be void. Sir, if you are not going to return anything from a function, its a return type must be void. Its a return type must be void. So let me explain with the tracing. Tracing అంటే స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్, ఏ స్టెప్ తర్వాత ఏ స్టెప్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుందో మీరు ఒక పెన్ అండ్ పేపర్ తీసుకొని ప్రతి ప్రోగ్రామ్ని ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పబోయే విధంగా మీరు ప్రోగ్రామ్ని అర్థం చేసుకుంటే ఎంత పెద్ద డిఫికల్ట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అయినా కాంప్లెక్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అయినా డెడ్ ఈజీగా అర్థమవుతుంది. నౌ అబ్జర్వ్ దట్. Now let me explain the program execution. Let me take the whiteboard. Program execution is started. Assume it is computer's main memory. Sir, this is something called computer's main memory. Computer's main memory. As you all know, bottom of the memory is a code section. Sir, this is reserved for loading mission understandable instruction. This memory is reserved for loading code section, mission understandable code. Then after we are having stack area. For your better understanding, I am mentioning stack area here. Over the stack area we are having heap area. For better understanding, actually I am mentioning like this. Generally it is in the reverse actually. First heap, next stack. But here for better understanding, heap area followed by stack area. Now observe very carefully. Program execution starts from which function? Program execution starts from which function? Main function. Your operating system will call the main function. Your operating system calls the main function. Your operating system calls the main function. Whenever function execution is started, immediately for that function, some memory is reserved in the stack area. We can call it as a activation record of that function. What is that? Activation record of that function. So ఏ ఫంక్షన్ కి మెమరీ అలొకేట్ అయింది? మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్. ఎక్కడ అలొకేట్ అయింది? స్టాక్ ఏరియా. ఎవరి కోసం? ఫర్ లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్. సార్, వాట్ ఈజ్ ఏ లోకల్ వేరియబుల్? ఎనీ వేరియబుల్ డిక్లేర్డ్ విత్ ఇన్ ఏ ఫంక్షన్. So here a comma b, they are variables declared inside the main function. We can treat them as local variables. We can treat them as what? Local variables. Now local variables are created inside the stack. A is created, B is created. Sorry, A value 14, A value 14, B value 58. So these are the local variables that are created inside the main function and they are created in the stack area. Now let us come to the next line. Because of this line, because of this line, on the console, on the output window, we will get before swapping A value, B value. A value 14 and B value 58. So what we are going to get? We are going to get the output like this. Before swapping A value 14, B value 58, like we are going to get the output. Now coming to the next one. Next line. Line number 13. Control will be transferred from main function to the swap function. Control will be transferred from main function to the swap function. So whenever function execution is started, whenever a function execution is started, some memory is reserved automatically in the stack area. Some memory is reserved in the stack area. Now for which function memory is reserved? For swap function. It is the activation record of the swap function. For what? To store local variables. What are the local variables? X is a local variable, Y is a local variable, T is a local variable. Now observe that. So at the time of calling a function, A value copied to the X, B value is copied to the Y. Inside the body of the function, another local variable is created at T without any value. So that is the reason, that is the reason here T will hold the garbage value. Y will hold the 58. X will hold the 14. X will hold the 14. Now let me write what is the logic we have written. T equals to X, X equals to Y, Y equals to T is the logic. For swapping, this is the code we have written. T equals to X means what? X value we are trying to copy to the T. X value 14, garbage value meda 14 overwrite outundi. Y value we are transferring to the X. Y value we are transferring to the X. What is Y value? 58. It will overwrite over the data 14. T value will be copied to the Y. What is T value? 14. 14 will be copied to the Y. Whether you observed or not, I don't know. Whatever the changes you made to the values of the actual parameter, is those changes are reflected back to the actual parameter? మీరు ఏవైతే వాల్యూస్ రిసీవ్ చేసుకొని ఆ వాల్యూస్ మీరు ఇంటర్చేంజ్ చేస్తున్నారో, మీరు చేస్తున్న మాడిఫికేషన్స్ యాక్చువల్ పారామీటర్కి యాక్చువల్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్కి ఏమైనా రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవుతున్నాయా? ఏ విధంగా కూడా రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవ్వవు. ఎందుకంటే ఇది ఒరిజినల్ కాపీ, ఇది దానికి సంబంధించిన ఇంకొక డూప్లికేట్ కాపీ అని అనుకో. సో డూప్లికేట్ కాపీ మీద మీరు ఎన్ని చేంజెస్ చేసినా దోస్ చేంజెస్ ఆర్ నాట్ రిఫ్లెక్టెడ్ బ్యాక్ టు ద యాక్చువల్ పారామీటర్. సో those changes are not reflected back to the actual parameter. Now closing bracket. Control will come back from line number 8 to line number 14. Line number 8 to line number 14. But you know what will happen? Immediately from the stack area, memory reserved for swap function is going to be removed automatically. Now what will be printed? Line number 14 after swapping. So after swapping A value, can anyone tell me any changes that are happened to the A and B? Nothing. So A value 14 and B value 58. No changes were reflected back to the actual parameter. Now what is the next line? Return 0 means saying tata goodbye to the program. So automatically memory reserved for main function also will be removed from the stack area. Now, this is all about call by value. So in case of call by value, let me show you the output. Is the changes are reflected back? Did you observe that? Is the changes are reflected back? Right? So there is no chat box to send your response. But if you like the explanation with respect to the memory and tracing, you please give a like button. You just like the video. Currently chat box is disabled. If you like the way of teaching and the tracing, with the tracing I have explained the program. If you like that, you just like the video. Right. Now we will see the next topic is same program, call by address, Sir, it is not call by value, call by address. So what is the drawback of call by value? What is the drawback of call by value? In case of call by value, any changes made to the formal argument or formal parameter, any changes made to the formal argument or formal parameter, those changes are not reflected back. Sir, those changes are not reflected back to the actual parameter. Sir, those changes are not reflected back to the actual parameter. Right? Now we will see what is the call by address mechanism. Call by address means while calling a function, don't pass the values of the actual parameter. Why don't you pass the address of the actual argument? Why don't you pass the address of the actual parameter or actual argument? Sir, it is something called call by address. It is something called call by address. So we are not sending the values of the actual parameter. Instead of that, we are sending address of the actual parameter. Now, if we are sending the normal value, normal variables are required. But is it a normal variable? Pointer is required. Sir, pointer is required. So that is the reason star P1, star P2. Sir, this is the way how to declare a pointer. So compiler can understand that if any variable is preceded by star symbol, it is assumed to be pointer, and it is pointing to a variable of which type? Integer type. Sir, it is pointing to a variable of which type? Integer type. Clear, right? So now we will try to implement this with call by address. Sir, we will try to implement this with call by address. First, let me complete the logic. Sir, t equals to star P1 equals to star P2 equals to t. So I will explain, don't worry about this logic. Now really the changes are reflected back or not, I want to check. I am modifying the values also. A value 10 and B value 99. Sir, A value 10, B value 99. Now have a look once. A value 10, B value 99. After swapping, A becomes 99, B becomes 10. Sir, B becomes 10. Now observe the explanation very carefully. This is program's main memory. Sir, this is something called program's main memory. Here the memory is reserved for code section. Memory is reserved for code section. Clear, right? Now execution starts from which function? Main function. So, sir, this is stack area and this is the heap area. Memory is reserved for main. This is the activation record of the main function to store the local variables. What are the local variables? A value 10, B value 99. So A is created with value 10, B is created with value 99. Then what is the next line? Printf before swapping. Sir, here we are going to get before swapping A value 10 and b value 99 we are going to get. After that we are calling swap function. So control will be transferred from main function to the swap. Main function to the swap. Now one more activation record is created for which function? Swap function. Sir, to receive those values, what we have created? Two pointers I have created. P1 and P2. Inside one temporary variable also created. Sir, some memory is reserved for A in the memory. Assume address of this memory block is 1000. Assume like that. And address of this data is nothing but 2000. Every memory block will have some address, and this is the address where 99 is stored in the memory, and 1000 is the address where value 10 gets stored. Now while calling swap function, am I sending the value na? Am I sending the address? Sir, we are sending the address. So to the pointer, what will be copied? P1 will receive the address of the actual parameter 1000. And P2 is a pointer which will receive the address of the second parameter, which is nothing but 2000. Sir, temporary variable t is created without any value, so it is holding garbage value. It is holding garbage value. Now come to the logic. What is the meaning of t equals to star p1? Anyone? What is the meaning of t equals to star p1? What is the meaning of t equals to star p1? So C programming lo, within the program lo, if pointer variable is preceded by this operator, within the program, beginning of the program, within the program, if pointer is preceded by star, it is the meaning of dereferencing. What is the meaning? Dereferencing. Dereferencing and అర్థం ఏంటంటే వాల్యూ ఎట్ దట్ అడ్రస్ అని. పాయింటర్ ఏ అడ్రస్ అని పాయింట్ చేస్తుంది, అక్కడ ఉన్న వాల్యూని తీసుకొని రమ్మ. పాయింటర్ 1000 అనే అడ్రస్ అని పాయింట్ చేస్తుంది. ఈ అడ్రస్ లో ఉన్న వాల్యూ ఎంత? 10. సో స్టార్ p1 మీన్స్ వాట్ ఇస్ ద వాల్యూ? సర్ వాట్ ఇస్ ద వాల్యూ? 10. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ కాపీడ్ టు ద t. రైట్. నౌ వాట్ ఇస్ ద నెక్స్ట్ లైన్? Star p1 equals to star p2. Lot of confusion is there for students. They don't understand what is the meaning of this line. Star p1 equals to star p2. Star p1 equals to star p2. అసైన్మెంట్ ఆపరేటర్ కి రైట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ ఈ ఆపరేటర్ వాడినప్పుడు దీని మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే వాల్యూ ఎట్ దట్ అడ్రస్ అని. సార్ వాల్యూ అట్ దట్ అడ్రస్. పాయింటర్ p2 ఏ అడ్రస్ అని పాయింట్ చేస్తుంది? 2000. 2000 అనే అడ్రస్ లో ఉన్న వాల్యూ ఎంత? 99. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ స్టార్ p2? 99. 99. సార్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ స్టార్ p1? ఈజ్ ఇట్ వాల్యూ అడ్రస్? నో నో నో. వెన్ star pointer is written on the left side of assignment operator. When the star pointer is written on the left hand side of assignment operator. Assignment operator ki left hand side రాసినప్పుడు దీని మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే we are trying to modify the value of a variable pointed by the pointer. What is the meaning? We are trying to update or modifying value of a variable which is pointed by the pointer p1. So p1 everni point chestundi? Variable a. Currently which is what it is holding? 10. We are updating that value with what? 99. So 10 boyi ee place lo em copy avutundi? 99. Sir, what is the last line? Star p2 equals to t. Sir, what is the t? T is a 10. Sir, t is a 10. Is it on the left hand side or right hand side? Left hand side. What is the meaning on the left hand side? So what is the meaning on the left hand side? We are accessing, we are updating. We are updating. Pointer p2 evarni point chestundo aa value ni update chestam. Pointer p2 evarni point chestundi? Variable b. Currently it is holding what? 99. 99 is replaced with 10. Now can you please observe that, sir, with the concept of pointer, is it possible to access the variable created in one function from another function? ఒక ఫంక్షన్ లో క్రియేట్ చేసిన వేరియబుల్ వాల్యూని ఇంకొక ఫంక్షన్ నుంచి మనం యాక్సెస్ చేయగలమా చేయలేమా అంటే డెఫినెట్లీ ఇట్ ఈస్ పాసిబుల్ when you pass address as an argument. So now tell me, any changes made by using formal parameter, those changes are reflected back to the actual parameter or not? Sir, any changes made by using formal parameter, those changes are reflected back to the actual parameter or not? Definitely they are reflected back. So this is the story. This is the difference between call by value and call by address. Sir, this is the difference between call by value and call by address. Right? Now the next one. Sir, what will be the scope of a local variable? What will be the scope of a local variable? First of all, what is a local variable? Any variable declared within a function or within a block, it is treated as a local variable. What is the meaning of scope? I will explain. Void display int a print percentage d comma a plus b, sir. A plus b. Main is the entry point of the program. Return 0 int sir, b equals to 25. B equals to 25. Now I am calling display. Display I am calling with a 10. So if I ask the same question generally in the offline session, what will be the output of this program? 99% of the people can answer, sir, 10 plus 25, 35 will be the answer. 35 will be the answer. Most of the people can respond like this only. 35 will be the answer. So here we are not going to get the answer. We are going to get the error. We are going to get the error. So what is that error? Let me show you. Sir, the error is variable b is not declared. Variable b is not declared. So let us come to the explanation of the program with the tracing. As you all know, this is the memory, main memory. This is the stack area. This is the heap area. Execution starts from main function. So some memory is reserved for main function in the stack area. One local variable is created, b, with the value 25. Any variable declared within a function is treated as a local variable. The local variables are accessible within this block only. The local variables are accessible within this block only. The portion of the program where we can access a variable, we can call it as a scope. ఇదంతా టోటల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అయినా సరే నేను ఈ టోటల్ ప్రోగ్రాంలో బీని యాక్సెస్ చేయలేను. ఓన్లీ ఈ రీజియన్లో మాత్రమే యాక్సెస్ చేయగలను. సో ద రీజియన్ ఆర్ ద పోర్షన్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ వేర్ ఐ కెన్ యాక్సెస్ ఏ వేరియబుల్, I can call it as a scope. Now observe very carefully. Sir, this is the main memory. When function execution is started, activation record for main function to store local variable. B is a local variable with the value 25. Now control will be transferred from main function to the display. Another activation record is created for a display function to store the local variable. What is the local variable? A. So what is the value of A? It is a 10. Now when I say a plus b, a, is it declared in the display? Yes, it is declared in the display. Now b, when comes to the b, it will check, is there any variable declared globally? Sir, globally there is no variable with the name called b. Then it will verify within the activation record, is there any variable with the name called b? But unfortunately there is no local variable with the name b. That is the reason it raised a syntactical error, undeclared variable b. So variable b ni మనం డిస్ప్లే ఫంక్షన్ లో క్రియేట్ చేయలేదు, మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్ లో క్రియేట్ చేసాం. ఒక ఫంక్షన్ లో క్రియేట్ చేసిన వేరియబుల్ ని మాక్సిమం ఆ ఫంక్షన్ వరకు మాత్రమే యాక్సెస్ చేయగలం. అవుట్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫంక్షన్ మనం యాక్సెస్ చేయలేము డ్యూ టు ఇట్స్ స్కోప్. ఏమంటారు దాన్ని? డ్యూ టు ఇట్స్ స్కోప్. రైట్. నౌ come to the global variables concept. Sir, why do we require a global variable? Why do we require a global variable? So let me explain with one example. There is some withdraw function is there. It is a banking application. Withdraw function is there. and also I have some deposit function also it is there. Sir, I have some balance transfer, some function is there, and finally I have an entry point of the program int main function is there. So total together it is one project. Sir, totally it is one project. Withdraw, deposit, balance transfer, main function, it is a banking application. Now assume inside the main function I created one variable called ACC number, account number I created. Sir, just now we covered any variable declared inside a function, any function, it is something called a local variable. Am I correct or not? It is something called a local variable. What is its scope? It is accessible up to this block only. Outside the block you can't access. But if I want to withdraw, I require this account number. Sir, if I want to deposit money, I want this account number. If I want to transfer any amount from my account to some other account, what is required? Account number is required. Now tell me, if I declare ACC number inside the main function, can we access ACC number in the withdraw? No. Can we access account number in the deposit? No. Can we access account number in the balance transfer? No. But if it is not accessible, how can I withdraw the money? If it is not accessible, how can I deposit the money in that account? If it is not accessible, how can I transfer the amount from that account to another account? So it should be accessible to withdraw function, deposit function, balance transfer, main function. For the entire program, it should be accessible. Then you have to declare that a variable outside the function int ACC number equals to 14589. Sir, any variable that is declared outside the function, we can call it as a global variable, and a global variable is accessible to entire program, not restricted to one block. It is accessible to the entire program. In the entire program, in any function, happily you can access ACC number, no problem at all. Hope everyone understood what is the difference between local variable and global variable. Global variable is a common property to all function. Anybody can access. Anybody can access. Now the next one. Sir, today we will complete all the fundamentals. From tomorrow, we are going to start the actual concept of data structures also. Right? In case of call by address, instead of values of actual argument, we will pass address of the actual parameter, so that any changes made using formal parameter, those changes are reflected back to the actual parameter or actual argument. Those changes are reflected back to the actual parameter or actual argument. It is something called call by address. So what is a global variable? Any variable declared outside of the function. Sir, any variable declared outside of the function is treated as a global variable. Global variables are accessible to every function from the point of its declaration. Sir, from the point of its declaration, it is accessible to every function. Now the next one, introduction to structures concept. Sir, what is a structure? Why do we require a structure concept? Why do we require a structure? So listen, I want to develop a banking application. Sir, in a banking application, generally, every time we use one term called account. I want to represent one account information, one account holder's data. Every account holder will have some name. Account holder name. What will be the account number? Balance in the account. What is the Aadhaar number of that particular account holder? What is the PAN number? What is his phone? What is the person's phone number? So this is the lot of information required to maintain one account. And also what will be the type of the account. Sir, while developing school level application, generally we will try to store the student information. Every student will have name. Every student will have roll number. Every student will have total marks, average, father name, mother name, Aadhaar number, contact number, phone number, etc. etc. Now the question is there any chance these data types are developed at language level? Is our C language is providing a data type with the name called student, employee, account, item, book. ఈ పేర్లతో లాంగ్వేజ్ లెవెల్లో మనకి డేటా టైప్స్ ఏమైనా క్రియేట్ అయ్యాయా? నో సార్. నిజంగా ఒకవేళ క్రియేట్ అయ్యి ఉంటే ఎట్ ద టైమ్ ఆఫ్ అప్లికేషన్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ద డెవలప్మెంట్ పార్ట్ బికమ్స్ వెరీ ఈజీ. చాలా ఈజీ అయిపోయి ఉండేది. ఒక బ్యాంకింగ్ అప్లికేషన్, ఒక కాలేజీ లెవెల్ అప్లికేషన్, ఒక ఇండస్ట్రీ అప్లికేషన్, ఒక లైబ్రరీ అప్లికేషన్స్ ఇలాంటివి డెవలప్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఆ బిజినెస్ అప్లికేషన్స్లో మనం ఎక్కువగా ఫ్రీక్వెంట్గా యూజ్ చేసే టర్మ్తో ఒక డేటా టైప్ ఉండుంటే మనకి మేబీ ఇట్ ఈస్ మోర్ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఫర్ అస్. బట్ అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ దెర్ విల్ బి నో డేటా టైప్ విత్ ద నేమ్ కాల్డ్ స్టూడెంట్, నో డేటా టైప్ విత్ ద నేమ్ కాల్డ్ account, there is no data type with the name called item, employee, like that. Then don't worry, the language developers are providing one beautiful feature. If the data type is not developed at a language level, no problem, happily you can create your own data type. మేము ప్రొవైడ్ చేయకపోయినా నష్టమేం లేదు. మీ ఫ్యూచర్లో మీ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయో మాకు ముందుగానే తెలియదు కాబట్టి కొన్ని డేటా టైప్స్ మేము క్రియేట్ చేయలేకపోయాం. బట్ హవెవర్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఏ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ యూ కెన్ క్రియేట్ యువర్ ఓన్ డేటా టైప్ విత్ ఏ కాన్సెప్ట్ కాల్డ్ స్ట్రక్చర్. సార్, విత్ ఏ కాన్సెప్ట్ కాల్డ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ హ్యాపీలీ యూ కెన్ క్రియేట్ యువర్ ఓన్ డేటా టైప్. ఫర్ దట్ సి లాంగ్వేజ్ ఈజ్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ one keyword called struct. Sir, one keyword called struct. So now tell me, sir, using a struct, how can I create our own data type? Let me show you how to create. Write a program to create account data type. So using which keyword I can create account data type? Struct. What is the name of the data type? Account, followed by open bracket and closing bracket, followed by semicolon. You may have a doubt, sir, is it mandatory to write this structure definition outside the main function, or can I write inside the main also? Main బయటే రాయాలా, విత్ ఇన్ ద మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్ లో కూడా రాయొచ్చా అంటే, ఇన్సైడ్ ద మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్ రాస్తే ఇట్ విల్ బికమ్ లోకల్, అవుట్ సైడ్ ద మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్ రాస్తే ఇట్ విల్ బికమ్ గ్లోబల్. సో అదర్ దాన్ దట్ దెర్ ఇస్ నో చేంజ్ అట్ ఆల్. There is no difference at all. Clear, right? Now, sir, every account will have some data. What are the attributes of account? Account holder name, account number, balance. That's it. Sir, what will be account holder name? Is it a single character or group of character? Group of character. So 50 will be the size of an array. So it is something called character. Sir, account number is something called some 5-digit account number that a bank will maintain only 5-digit account number. So int ACC number. Now balance is amount related. There may be a chance to get a number with a decimal part. So it is something called float balance. Now anyone, sir, what I did actually, you just created a one template. You just created one blueprint. Sir, you just created one plan. You just created one proposal. For example, you want to construct a house. If you want to construct a house, directly you will purchase a land, directly you will start constructing a house. No. First we will plan something, we will draw something. సో ఒక ఇంజనీర్ని కలిసి నాకు ఒక 5 సెంట్స్లో ఒక బ్యూటిఫుల్ డిజైన్ కావాలని నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ డిజైన్స్లో ఒక డిజైన్ని ఫైనలైజ్ చేసుకొని దానికి తగ్గట్టుగా ఒక ల్యాండ్ని దానికి తగ్గట్టుగా ఒక కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ని స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం. సో బిఫోర్ కన్స్ట్రక్టింగ్ ఏ హౌస్, whatever action we will do, it is something called a template or a blueprint or a plan or a proposal. So in my project, I have a requirement with the account data type, but unfortunately C language is not providing. No problem, you can create your own data type. Sir, C language is providing int data type. How to use that? Very simple. Int followed by variable x. So if you want to use any data type that is created at a language level, you just create one variable. It is not simply, it is stating that you are using that data type. Suppose a float data type is developed at a language level. I want to use that. How can I use that? Float average. In the same way, sir, if I want to use the data type what I have created, how can I create a variable? How can I create a variable? Very simple. Sir, in the main function, what is the variable name? A1. A1 is of which data type? Account. Sir, is account of which one? It is a structure, sir. It is a structure. It is a structure. Sir, this is a variable A1. This is a variable A1. Now, when I declare variable A1, in the main memory, sir, 3 blocks are reserved. 3 blocks. One block is for storing the data for account holder name, and another block is reserved for storing the account number, and one more block is reserved for balance. ఈ ముగ్గురికి కలిపి ఎంత సఫిషియంట్ మెమరీ కావాలో అంత మెమరీ రిజర్వ్ చేస్తుంది కంపైలేషన్ స్టేజ్లో కంపైలర్. ఎప్పుడు? ఫర్ దిస్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఇఫ్ యూ క్రియేట్ ఏ వేరియబుల్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ డ్రా ఏ ప్లాన్, will it cost you around 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs? No. By following the plan, if I construct a house, then only we are supposed to spend 30 to 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs as per our requirement. Like that, sir, creating structure will not allocate any memory. ఒక డేటా టైప్ని క్రియేట్ చేసినంత మాత్రాన మెమరీ రిజర్వ్ అవ్వదు. ప్లాన్ గీసినంత మాత్రాన 30 లక్షలు 40 లక్షలు అవ్వదు. ఈ ప్లాన్ని ఫాలో అవుతూ నిజంగా నువ్వు కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ చేస్తేనే ఇంత అమౌంట్ ఖర్చు అవుతుంది. అలానే డేటా టైప్ క్రియేట్ చేసినంత మాత్రాన ఇమీడియట్గా మెమరీ రిజర్వ్ అవ్వదు. సో మీరు క్రియేట్ చేసిన డేటా టైప్కి ఒక వేరియబుల్ని డిక్లేర్ చేస్తేనే మీకు మెమరీ రిజర్వ్ అవుతుంది. సో నౌ ఇన్ ద మెయిన్ మెమరీ, దిస్ టోటల్ మెమరీ రిజర్వ్డ్ ఫర్ దిస్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అకౌంట్ కెన్ బి యాక్సెసబుల్ విత్ A1. Sir, I want to provide ACC number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can I do that? So within the program, you have to mention what is the member of a structure, ACC number, which value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I have a confusion. Sir, whose account number it was? Sir, it is A1's account number. Sir, it is A1's account number. A1 dot. Sir, A1 dot ACC number. Sir, this is something called member selection operator. This line specifying that this is the account number of first account holder. Can you please set this value? Sir, then after, if I want to assign balance, A1 dot balance equals to 9,999. The point was clear. Now let me show you. So A1 dot name equals to, otherwise we can assign all the values between the pair of curly brackets. We can assign all the values. First value account holder name Pavan. Next member is ACC number 12345 or 1245. Balance is 1000 rupees. Balance is 1000 rupees. I want to print all the details. First name I want to print. Sir, name is a string, percentage yes. In the next line, I want to print account number. It is integer. In the next line, I want to print balance, percentage F. Percentage S means what? Account holder name. It is a member of which variable? A1. Sir, A1 dot A name, comma, A1 dot ACC number, comma, A1 dot balance. Sir, A1 dot balance. So, return 0. Sir, return 0. So, account dot C. Now, let me save the program and let me run the program. So, it is not a print, it is a printer. So, Pavan 1245,000. Right? That's all from my end for today's session. That's all from my end. So, still if anybody want to register for this program, you can contact me on 70-130-88104. And if you miss the last 2 sessions, you can find the videos on my YouTube channel, Programming by Pavan. And if you want to follow me on my Instagram ID, this is my Instagram ID, Pavan Madhu. Right. That's all from my end. Again, we'll meet tomorrow.